Hey guys, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. So 7/11 of 2024 turned out to be one of the biggest card days probably ever in my collecting history. So just the most random, weird, unexpected day and how it all broke down. So on the 10th, I had a pretty well-established collector, actually pretty influential guy in the industry, reach out to me and said, "Hey, you still looking for Musial cards?" And I said, "Well, always looking, but budget right now is not necessarily at its height, so not a whole lot I could do." He said, "Well, I got a big one." Sent over a picture of a card with a price, and I said, "That's amazing, but I'm definitely not in that market. Cash. Thanks for thinking of me. Keep me in mind. Would love to, but just can't do it right now." And so he followed up and said, "What about trade?" Now, I've even said on the videos, I've done one trade, and that was with my friend Joe. I don't trade. I'm looking at the collector, investor, dealer kind of mentality. Where do you fall? Somewhere in the hoarder. If 6 Billy Williams rookies is great, 7's better kind of idea. And so I've never really been one to trade. As a kid you did, because you kind of swapped your Todd Zeals for your Greg Jeffries and Todd Van Poppels and stuff. But as an adult, when you're getting into vintage and cool cards, the idea that there is no such thing as a duplicate, I love hearing that. Because every card is unique, even if they're the same year, same card maker, same player. Kind of agree they all have a little bit different character to them, and so it is kind of fun to have multiple. But this card was so unique and so rare, I said, you know what, let's bust out what I have more than one of. I was thinking maybe next year for Strong, so I'd just walk in the room and say, everything I have extra of. Who needs a 56 mantle? Or who needs a graded 56 mantle? Or who needs a 57 Ted? Or who wants a graded 57 Ted? And I do have some non-baseball, who needs a Gretzky rookie? Or who needs another Gretzky rookie? So I kind of dug those out, and I said, being a dealer, I understand rare is amazing and draws attention, but it's not like people are popping out of the woodwork. So sometimes these, kind of more mainstream, more popular, more well-known kind of cards, I think those are all pretty nice descriptions of that. Sometimes those become more cash ready. They're almost more of a stock. They're more crypto, if you will. So I threw those out there, and he said, "Well, let's value them. Let's take a look. Let's see." So I'm getting ready to pack all those up. Those will be out in the mail today. The way the transaction went down was just simply amazing. The dealer, basically, we became Facebook friends. It was through Facebook that we connected, and I have done, larger purchases with him. Actually, one large purchase with him before. So we had a little bit of history, and he took a look at my profile, and he basically said, "You know what, I trust you." Because a trade is tough. You get vouchers, you get all that stuff, but I'm going to drop those cards in the mail, and I have to have faith that he did the same. So I said, basically, how do we do this? How do we do this so we both feel safe and protected and whatnot? And I tend to be a pretty trusting person. Trust but verify. But we're in the wake of, Ash's huge theft, and there are goofballs that seem to be always posting, once a month I see somebody on Facebook posting saying like, "Hey, I've got this card and it's 200 uncomps," and you realize quickly their profile is, they have one friend and they've been on Facebook for 3 days. So you realize probably they're not willing to take PayPal goods and services. They want friends and family or Venmo or something. So it's like, come on, none of that's good. So we just don't. But let me bust this thing open. So I'm holding all the cards for the trade at this point. He printed up the label and said, "Ready to send this out tonight." And I said, "Can't, for your protection. I can't do that. My work schedule yesterday, I worked 11, 12 hours. I was gone. I didn't have a chance to pack anything up. So I said, Saturday for sure, Friday possible, but I just can't get it in the mail that fast. And so I kind of asked him some logistics. He said, you know what? You're legit. I feel like I know you. I'm a good judge of character. I trust you. Which to me is a huge compliment, a huge relief, because in a trade process, obviously that's tough. But all right, so here's what I scored. I showed you pretty much everything I'm sending over. There's a small difference, and I'm fine with that. This card, that's the other hard thing when you're into rare and scarce. Everything I just showed you is pretty easy to comp. 56 Mantle, 57 Ted, Gretzky rookie. That stuff you can just look up. You can comp and say it's, this grade, it's a 1.5, it's a 2, it's a 4, whatever. And you can look at the last 2 or 3 solds and say it's between, 200 and 250. Let's call it 235. And we're real happy and everyone feels like they had a good deal. The one I'm receiving, there are 18 graded between PSA and SGC. The last PSA sale, I'm not even sure when that was. I'm trying to remember. There was an auction sale, I think. There's a couple PSA sales, but it just becomes really, really tough to value. So, this is what I landed. So, take a look at that. Get the label. 1953 Hunter Wieners. They're hand cut. Nearly all of them are authentic. There's a couple of 1s and 2s and some graded things out there, but right now eBay has a 53, a 54, a 55, all for sale. I've gone asking price, even if they're double, I think I did okay on a fair deal for this. There's one ungraded, a 53. So I guess if there's 18 graded, there might be some BVGs out there, and there might be some more raw ones, but, at 18, call it 20, 25, 30, whatever. What's really crazy growing up, the grail of the hobby, if you will, debate it out, but to me, the T206 Honus Wagner, that's the impossible. It's blank back. It's a food insert. It's one of those things that nobody would have been saving, but then, it's authentic, not just because it's hand cut. It's brutal. There's stuff missing. There's, it's as rough as you'd expect, but as you can tell, I have a Stan Musial restaurant t-shirt on right now. I'm a pretty big fan. So the chance to pick that up, to me, those are the uncompables. Did he come out ahead? I hope so. As a dealer, you've got to come out ahead. Otherwise you're just treading water doing nothing. But, as the collector side of the things, when's the next one of this going to come up that I can purchase for something reasonable? No clue. Everything on eBay is 2 and 3 times what I was able to acquire this one for. So I always look at that too with conditions. So not only do you have to find the card, so call it 18 or 20 of them, but how many are actually in your collectability range? There may only be a few that are actually rough enough. So my pop to collect isn't 25, it's 4. So I scored one of the rougher authenticated, Hunter Wieners. So, Stan Musial cards. I'm just going to keep holding that up. That's one of those things in the collection that it's just like, dang, can't believe that's in my collection now. So, that's the fun. That's the joy of the hobby, right? So huge, huge, huge shout out. If you're looking for a credible dealer, I definitely have one I can recommend you to. Huge leap of faith. I'm getting that in the mail for him today. Obviously he felt comfortable and reassured in the whole process, but, talk about a stand-up guy to say, I trust you. We've done business before, and just get it sent out, overnighted it one day, which is obviously pretty smart when you're dealing with a card that's that significant. So, super pumped. This is part 1 of why 7-Eleven is one of the biggest days for me. I will go ahead and post part 2 here in a minute, and share a local card shop find, if you will. So it's not a pickup, but it's, I guess, collectively the entire thing will be a pickup. So that's my new 53 Stan Musial. Hopefully that's enjoyable. If you're not on Facebook, if you're a YouTube person, get on Facebook, lurk, watch, interact. Don't jump too soon. Be super cautious because there are some bad actors in the, field there. But when you find the big guys that are fair and, looking to make some deals, you can find some really, really cool stuff out there. So that's it for part 1. I will follow this up, and welcome to the collection, Stan. Hope you guys have a good one.